If you've made it this far, if you've watched the videos in the playlist, then something important has already happened. You don't just hear about digital income anymore, you actually understand it. And that's a big deal because most people never slow down long enough to actually understand what this space is and what it isn't. But here's the moment almost everyone reaches next. They say, okay, I get it now. But what do I actually do with this? Good question. And that's exactly why I want to make this video today. Not to hype you up, not to rush you, not to push you into anything. Just to calmly answer the question that naturally comes after understanding. Because understanding alone doesn't change anything. Learning does. And here's a difference. Understanding is when things finally make sense in your head. Learning is when you start building a skill in real life. This video is about that bridge. And before we go any further, I want to say something very clearly. You don't owe me anything for watching this. You don't need to sign up for anything. You don't need to decide anything today. If all this video does is help you think more clearly, then it's done its job. So take a breath, let's slow down just a little bit, and let's talk through what the next steps actually look like without any pressure. One of the biggest lies in the online space is that digital income is about finding the right opportunity. No, it's not. There is no perfect program, there is no magic platform, there is no secret loophole. Digital income is built by learning a skill set, and that's it. Just like any other profession, if you want to become a nurse, you wouldn't scroll on TikTok hoping to piece it together. If you wanted to become an electrician, you wouldn't watch random YouTube videos and hope for the best. And if you wanted to become a real estate agent, you would not expect results without training. But for some reason, when it comes to making money online, people are told they should be able to figure it out. And when they can't, they blame themselves. And that's not fair. And it's not true. Most people fail online because they never learned one skill deeply. Master the mundane, I say. Jump from thing to thing. They try to do everything at once or are handed vague information with no structure. Digital income isn't hard, but it is very specific. You need to learn how people find you, how trust is built online, how systems work in the background, and how to show up consistently without burning out. And here's the part that matters for midlifers. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to dance. You don't need to be tech obsessed. And you definitely don't need to chase trends. You need clarity and you need structure and you need support while you're learning, which brings us to the next step. When people hear the word blueprint, they often think it means a PDF or a checklist or a quick start guide. That's not what I mean when I say blueprint. A real blueprint answers the questions you're already asking quietly. Questions like, how much time will this actually take? What do I focus on first? What matters and what doesn't? How do I avoid wasting months going in the wrong direction? A blueprint that doesn't make you money, it doesn't promise results, it doesn't replace effort. What it does is remove confusion. It gives you a map. And if you've ever felt like an online world is noisy and chaotic and overwhelming, it's because most people are trying to build without a map. The blueprint that I share is designed for beginners, especially midlifers and especially people who don't want a second full-time job. It shows what skills matter first, how things connect, where people usually get stuck, and what not to worry about yet. It's not about speed and it's not about direction, because moving fast in the wrong direction still leaves you lost. The blueprint is the place to start thinking like someone who's building digital income without yet committing to anything. It's clarity before commitment, and that matters. Learning alone is possible. It's just super painfully slow. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is assuming they should already know this. They hesitate to ask questions, they second guess themselves, they stop when something doesn't work immediately. That's why community matters. Not a hype-filled group, not a pressure cooker, not a place where everyone pretends everything is easy. A real learning community does three things. It normalizes the learning curve, it shortens the time that you stay stuck, and it keeps you moving when motivation dips. The free community exists for one reason, so you don't have to figure this out by yourself. Inside, people are at different stages. Some are brand new, some are learning along the way for consistency, and some are building confidence, some are deciding whether to go deeper. And that's intentional. There's no pressure to buy, no pressure to upgrade, no pressure to keep up. It's a place to learn, ask, observe, and build confidence. Free doesn't mean low value, it means low barrier. And sometimes that's exactly what someone needs. At some point, learning requires investment. Not because free information isn't good, but because structure, feedback, and speed matter. Every profession works this way. You pay for a clear path, a proven framework, and coaching and connection. Time saved through experience. The paid program is where you stop understanding and start learning the skill. Not everything, not all at once, but step by step. You learn how to show up online without overwhelm, how systems run in the background, how to build something sustainable, and how to work on this without it consuming your life. This isn't about hustle, it's about leverage. And it's not for everyone. If you want a shortcut without learning, this isn't for you. If you want guarantees, those don't exist. If you want to stay on the sidelines, free content is always there. But if you want to learn the skills properly with guidance and support, this is the next level. Let's talk honestly about the thoughts that usually come up. Is this another scam? No, scams promise outcomes without effort. Learning requires participation. What if I'm not techie? You don't need to be. You need repetition, not talent. What if I'm too old? You're not learning to dance. You're learning systems and communication. What if I don't want to sell? You're not selling. You're solving problems. What if I fail? Then you learn. Failure isn't losing money, it's gaining skills. Most fear comes from uncertainty, not reality, and clarity dissolves fear. So here's the truth. You don't need to decide anything today. But if you're wondering what the next step looks like after understanding digital income, it's pretty simple. You start with clarity, you stay close to support, and you learn at your pace. If that means starting with a blueprint, then start here. If that means joining the free community, then yes, do that. If that means watching more content, keep watching and enjoy. This isn't about pressure, it's about direction. And when you're ready to learn, not just understand, then you'll know.